Today we're going to be working on Leetcode question number 165. So given two version numbers, compare version numbers. Given two version numbers, version 1 and version 2, compare them. Version numbers consist of one or many versions joined by a dot. Each revision consists of digits and may contain leading zeros. Every revision contains at least one character. Revisions are zero in text from left to right. With the leftmost revision being revision 0, the next revision being version 1, and so on. So let's get to the example. And in the end, we're going to be returning if the two versions are exactly the same. No, I mean they are same. We're going to be returning 0, otherwise if version number 1 is less than version number 2, we're going to be returning -1, otherwise 1. So in this one they are equal because there is a the second part after this period sign. We have 0 1 and 0 0 1, which is we're gonna we're gonna ignore the leading zeros. 1.0 and 1.0.0 is the same because the third one where so he says that the version 1 does not specify revision 2, which means it is treated as 0. Okay, and 0.1 and 1.1 minus 1 because version 1's revision 0 is 0, while this is version 2 is revision is 0. Revision 0 is 1, so 0 is less than 1, so version 1 is less than version 2. Makes sense. So the way we're gonna be doing it is like first of all we're gonna be parsing these versions, basically splitting them. Whenever we see a period, we're gonna split them by the period sign, and then we're gonna split it in an array. So let's say if we have v1 which is equal to parse, and we're gonna define the parse function in a second, version 1, and v2 is equal to parse version 2. Okay, the way parse works is like it gets a version, okay, and then it's gonna first of all it's gonna split the version, so that's gonna become an array. So we're gonna say is like, because that can be anything, so we have to treat it as an integer. So we're gonna say that int of k for k inside this thing, and we're gonna wrap everything in an array because we want to return things in an array. That's what we're gonna be returning, and we're gonna also initialize our I equal to 0. This is the index for us, so we're gonna say that while our I is less than version 1, or I is less than length of version 2. Basically, if it is less than any of the length of those, version 1 or version 2, so we're gonna be entering this loop. Okay, the first thing we're gonna say is like, we're gonna tell him that we're gonna create two values. A is gonna be equal to v1 of I if the I is less than length of v1, right? If it is less than, otherwise we're gonna treat it as 0. Similarly for B, we're gonna say v2 of I if I is less than length of v2, else we're going to treat it as 0. Once we have this a and b, we're going to say if a is less than b, you're going to be returning -1, else if a is greater than b, we're going to be returning 1. Otherwise, we're going to increment I. And once we come out of this loop, that means that is exactly equal. So we're going to be returning 0. Looking nice. Yep, and it works.